Israel-Gaza-Iran War News Live Update. Iran, Russia, and Middle East War. 8 months into the Middle East War, the world community has finally begun to worry about Iran, the patron of Hamas and Hezbollah. Following a long hiatus, the IAEA Board of Governors adopted the first anti-Iran resolution on June 5, condemning Tehran for avoiding cooperation, refusing to let inspectors into nuclear facilities, and failing to explain uranium traces at 2 undeclared sites. Islamic Shiite Nuclear Dossier. The Ayatollah's regime's desire to accelerate Iran's nuclearization, which would change the geopolitical balance of power, spark a nuclear arms race, and threaten the Middle East and neighboring regions' existence, is well known. Tehran has continued enriching uranium to weapons grade and making ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads despite the restrictions it agreed to in the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action with the P5+1 group, 5 UN Security Council members plus Germany. This work has proceeded nearly openly since the US withdrew from the pact under Donald Trump. The number of uranium enrichment centrifuges climbed substantially to 60%, the penultimate step before weapons-grade enrichment at 90%, even though Iran did not condemn the pact. The Iranians frequently thwarted Joe Biden's efforts to negotiate a new pact with stronger guarantees that the Ayatollahs would not acquire nuclear weapons. After Kamal Karachi, former Iranian foreign minister and current advisor to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, made a statement on May 9, Tehran's activities are extremely significant in the current regional situation. Karachi stated, "We have no decision to build a nuclear bomb, but should Iran's existence be threatened, there will be no choice but to change our military doctrine," contradicting the regime's recent claims that Iran's nuclear program is peaceful. "If Israel attacks our nuclear plants, our deterrent will alter." 20 of the IAEA's 35 members supported Britain, France, and Germany's Iran resolution. 12 other nations abstained, while Russia and China voted against it, agreeing with Iran that the resolution was hasty and unwise. Moscow and Beijing's collaboration was expected. Both consider Iran as a critical ally in their fight against the global north, the bloc of Western democracies and pro-American regimes led by the US. Moscow and possibly Beijing do not want Iran to develop a nuclear bomb, but they do not want sanctions to weaken Iran, thus they do not want to obstruct its nuclear program. China, Iran's largest economic partner, only said confrontation will not address the Iranian nuclear issue and called for the full revival of the P5+1 deal. Moscow was harder. In a meeting with foreign news agency heads in St. Petersburg, Vladimir Putin said that it was not Iran that withdrew from the deal but the United States that decided to withdraw, unilaterally. In other words, the Kremlin recognizes Iran's right and blames the crisis on the US and its allies. This harsh decision has a reason. After Russia invaded Ukraine, Moscow and Tehran developed a tight military strategic relationship. Despite their past conflicts, the two sanctioned regimes found common ground fast. "Iran and Russia are growing closer the more isolated they become," said U.S. presidential spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre on October 26, 2022. There were military, economic, and geopolitical avenues of communication between Tehran and Moscow. The two nations inked a strategic partnership deal in July 2022. And the Russian army received Iranian Shahed-31 and Shahed-36 drones in August. The New Yorker reported Iran's full involvement in the Ukraine war in early November 2022, citing U.S. administration sources. Critical weapons supply has been the partnership's main focus. Some reports say Russia has given Iran anti-aircraft systems, assault helicopters, fighter jets, military training aircraft, and nuclear technologies. Iran supplied its allies with drones, hundreds of missiles and other armaments, plus parts and equipment for Iranian-made aircraft. The New Yorker said that Tehran chose the arrangement for geopolitical rather than financial reasons. The accord required Russia to recognize the Ayatollah's geopolitical interests, even if they opposed its long-term goals. Russia, which has limited military and diplomatic resources in Ukraine, is willing to allow Iran's expanding influence in Syria, Central Asia, and the South Caucasus, where the two governments once had competitive cooperation. Iran, Russia, and the new Middle East War. This plan changed Russia's Middle East priorities. Balance between regional power centers has dictated Russia's Middle East policy since the 1990s. Moscow offered to mediate regional conflicts as an honest broker. Moscow's efforts to retain tight ties with Iran and build special relations with the U.S.'s strategic ally Israel, countries who consider each other as existential threats, are the most glaring manifestation of this avowed ideology. After the strategic rapprochement between Moscow and Tehran on February 24, 2022, Russia's relations with Israel, the major link in the growing anti-Iranian coalition, are no longer significant. In the current Middle East conflict, a local variant of the neo-anti-colonial fight between the global South and North, Russia supports Iran with some reservations. Israel and Russia tried to keep things business as usual for a year and a half. However, growing mutual anger has made this harder. The IDF operation in the Gaza Strip, a response to Hamas massacre in southern Israel, and the, so far, positional struggle with Hezbollah militants in the north have established a new reality. Sunni Hamas and Shia Hezbollah, like the Yemeni Houthis and pro-Iranian Shia militias in Syria and Iraq, are Iranian proxies. Iran has waged war with its regional enemies while officially on the sidelines thanks to their massive military, material, financial, and political resources. Tehran's contacts with its terrorist affiliates rarely assume their independence. In November 2023, Hamas Politburo Chairman Ismail Haniyeh met with Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, who gave him full backing. Since Iran and Hezbollah were not involved in the October 7, 2023 incident, Khamenei vowed Tehran would not support Hamas. Because Tehran still cares about its proxies in this new Middle East war, Russia has de facto supported them, albeit rhetorically. Hamas obtained millions of money from a Moscow cryptocurrency exchange, but rumors of Russia delivering armaments are unconfirmed. Moscow supported Hamas despite its bloody attacks on Israeli kibbutzim and other areas. After October 7, 2023, Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs welcomed a Hamas delegation led by Politburo member Abu Marzouk, and from then on, Russia supported the Palestinian Islamists at the UN. Russia supported South Africa's International Court of Justice complaint against Israel for its genocide of Gaza's Arabs. Russian authorities have also indicated their willingness to back Hezbollah in a full-scale battle with Israel. The Wagner Group may supply Hezbollah with Russian air defense systems, according to the press. Russia's appraisal of Israel's response to Hamas attacks has changed over time, indicating its Middle East objectives. Russian leaders went from neutral and even sympathetic statements at the start of the IDF's Iron Swords operation to openly hostile rhetoric in the following months, similar to Iranian Ayatollah and Arab Islamist propaganda. On June 5, during a meeting with foreign news agency heads at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, Vladimir Putin called the situation in Gaza the total destruction of the civilian population. He added that Russia opposes all forms of terrorism, but did not name specific terrorists. Contrary to Hamas leaders' hopes, Hezbollah, Iran's main satellite in the eastern Mediterranean, has long been reluctant to launch a full-scale attack on Israel from the north without direct orders from Tehran, even though tensions and rocket attacks have increased in recent weeks. In addition to suspicions that Israel may take proactive measures to convert Beirut and Shiite Lebanon into another Gaza Strip, Tehran wanted to keep Hezbollah at bay if Israel or its allies attacked Iran's nuclear facilities. Iran escaped reprisal that may have led to a full-scale Iran-Israel conflict when the IDF destroyed IRGC foreign operations units and pro-Iranian militias that threatened Israel in prior years. The war in Gaza, one of the fronts of the current Great Regional War of a new type, has changed the situation. Official Tehran merely threatened to take revenge on the Zionists at a time convenient to Iran and instructed its satellites where and when to demonstrate the effective presence. The Iranians could no longer hide behind proxies.